press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Okay, hello everyone. So in the last class we discussed about that is nothing but your colloids, classification of colloids, and think up to the cleansing action of soap we have discussed. Let us move on to the remaining concept, that is nothing but a very important concept. This is, that is the preparation of colloids. Preparation of colloids. Okay, so as you know that colloids are very important, so we should know the methods of preparations of these colloids. So there are so many methods used for the preparation of these colloids. Out of those, the first one is condensation method. The first process is nothing but the condensation method. So by condensation, you know that whenever a substance is heated, if it is a solid, it will be converted into a liquid. The process is called as melting, and further, if that liquid substance is heated, it will be converted to a vapor. That is called as vaporization or evaporation. After that, when you want the liquid back, so when that vapor is cooled at a particular temperature, it will get condensed to form the liquid. So that is condensation, means the vapor is cooled down to get converted into a liquid. So this condensation can be done by different methods. Condensation can be done by different methods. Out of that, the first one is nothing but the chemical methods. Condensation can be done by chemical methods. So there are different chemical methods like the double decomposition. So or you can say the oxidation by using the suitable oxidizing agent, or reduction by using the suitable reducing agent, or by the process of hydrolysis. So we can prepare these sols, or you can say the colloids. So how that is, let us discuss one by one. So that is in these chemical methods, the first one is, this I am going to take as a Roman number. First method is condensation, that can be done by chemical methods. In that chemical methods, what reaction we are going to discuss now for the first one, that is nothing but the by double decomposition. By double decomposition. So you learn about the type of reactions, redox reactions. There you have discussed about the double decomposition reaction. So if you take an example of arsenic oxide, As2O3, that is arsenic oxide, so which is used for the preparation of a sol of arsenic sulfide. It is used to prepare the sol, or you can say the colloid of arsenic sulfide. So what to do for this one? So this can be done by passing the hydrogen sulfide, through the arsenic oxide. So through the cold solution of arsenic oxide. So when hydrogen sulfide is made to pass through the cold solution of arsenic oxide, so it leads to the double decomposition. So what is the name of the reaction? Double decomposition, or simply I will write as DD. Double decomposition takes place, leads to the formation of As2O, that is nothing but arsenic, right? This I should represent in small letters, thereby you can differentiate between sulfur and the arsenic. As2S3, that is nothing but this one. Double decomposition means here one of the element is replaced with the other element. Mutually they are replacing each other, okay, or displacing each other. Both will get decomposed and get displaced with each other, right? So when the hydrogen sulfide is passed through the cold solution of arsenic oxide, so it leads to the formation of a arsenic sulfide sol. right, with the formation of a water molecule, with the formation of a water molecule. So this reaction is called as what? Double decomposition reaction, which is used for the preparation of what? Colloids. Especially what type of colloids these are? Especially these are what we are, what I am writing now here is nothing but lyophobic lyophobic colloids. Do you know why? Because lyophilic colloids can be easily prepared just by mixing the dispersion medium with the dispersion phase. You can have the example of a starch, right? If you take the starch, when it is mixed with water and boiled to a temperature, that will be converted into a colloid. That will be converted into a colloid. Simple processes. In the differences only I told that what you can say, the lyophilic colloids can be prepared by simple methods, just by mixing the dispersion phase with the dispersion medium. Okay, so like that. So you can have the this one, that is lyophobic colloids. So they required specific chemical methods for the preparation of these lyophobic colloids, right? Yes. Now, so second one where we can see that in case of these chemical methods is nothing but by oxidation. What is the next process? By oxidation, that will take place in the presence of an oxidizing agent. Okay, so for this I have taken the example of this preparation of sulfur sol. So here also we are going to pass the hydrogen sulfide, or you can say sulfur dioxide. So by bubbling sulfur dioxide through a solution of what? Hydrogen sulfide in water. Through a solution of hydrogen sulfide in water. So you know about, you are going to use this that is H2S gas. So that is in the laboratories as a reagent. How you are going to use? You will pass this H2S into the water, right? So you can call that one as H2S water. To that what you are bubbling? You are bubbling the carbon dioxide gas. So what you are going to get? So here you are going to get the sulfur sol. Okay, 2 sulfur atoms are there. So if I take this one as 2H2S, this will become 3S, right? So with the formation of, once again, water molecule, how many? 2H2O. 2H2O. What you call for this one? This is nothing but our soldar, or you can say the sulfur sol, which is having number of S8 molecules, right? So here you can see that this is the oxidation reaction. This is the oxidation reaction. So it is undergoing reduction, it is undergoing oxidation. So here H2S has been reduced to what? The sulfur. Okay, so that's how you can say that oxidation. By the oxidation you can convert this one, what? The hydrogen sulfide to sulfur. When sulfur dioxide is bubbled through this one, it leads to the formation of the sulfur sol. Okay, so again you are having the third method, that is nothing but the reduction. What is the process? By reduction. So this method is used for the what? The preparation of the sols of the metals like gold, silver, platinum, right? So their solutions, or you can say their salt solutions, can be reduced with the help of suitable reducing agents. With the help of suitable reducing agents. Those reducing agents may be formaldehyde, or you can use the phenylhydrazine, right? Or you can use the reagents like stannous chloride, SnCl2. Excuse me. So all of them act as the reducing agents. So here the salts of these metals, that is nothing but salt solutions of these metals. Which are those metals? Gold, silver, or platinum are reduced using the suitable reducing agents to their respective sols. Okay, so let us have the example of this gold. Okay, so if you take the salt solution of this gold, that is nothing but auric chloride AuCl3, that is the salt solution. And if you made to react with the formaldehyde HCHO, as it is the solution state. So I am going to represent this one as, let me write, what is this? This is nothing but the oxidation. Okay, so it leads to the formation of, what is this reaction? This is called as the reduction. Which is the reducing agent here? Formaldehyde is the reducing agent. Okay, so this salt solution of this gold will be get reduced to what? the gold. That is nothing but the colloidal solution of this watch. You can say that one as a AU, plus the formaldehyde, as it is the reducing agent, it will get oxidized to formic acid. Formaldehyde will be reduced, it is a reducing agent, so it will be get oxidized. That is the meaning of what? Reducing agent, right? It will get oxidized and reduces others, which is, it is reducing what? Our aric chloride, that is AeCl3 is reduced to AU, right? So along with that, there is a formation of hydrochloric acid, that is 6HCl. Is it balanced? Yes, 2AU, 2AU, 2 3s are 6 chlorine atoms are there, 6HCl, right? Then if you go with the hydrogen, that is 4 plus 3, 6. Here it is nothing but 4 plus 6, 10, right? So like that, auction, so it is also balanced. So you can see that in these methods, so what you are doing, you are preparing the what? The respective sole by a process that is called as the condensation. In all these, the condensation process is happening. Okay, so again you are having one more example. So that is nothing but by hydrolysis. What is the name of next method? That is called as hydrolysis. Okay, so here in case of this hydrolysis, once again, so many salt solutions are rapidly hydrolyzed by boiling with water. When the salt solutions are boiled with water, they will get hydrolyzed to their respective soles. So one such example they have given here. So that is nothing but when ferric chloride, I am going to write the reaction here itself, thereby you can see clearly. When ferric chloride solution, that is the salt solution of this ferric chloride, when you take and if you boil with water, it will undergo what? Hydrolysis. It will undergo hydrolysis, leading to the formation of ferric hydroxide sole, FeOH3, FeOH thrice plus 3HCl. So what is this one? This is nothing but the method of preparation of ferric hydroxide sole. Again you can see that, so here the salt solution of this is boiled with water. So it leads to hydrolysis, leads to the formation of ferric hydroxide sole. See, look at these. All these soles or colloids are example for lyophobic colloids. Repeatingly I am saying that. So these are the methods what we are going to discuss. We are discussing the methods, so all are for what? Lyophobic colloids, because they are prepared by special chemical methods. But if you go for the lyophilic, very simple, mixing of dispersion medium with the dispersion phase with the dispersion medium, right? So that is all about the what you can say the chemical methods of preparation of your the lyophobic colloids. Let us move on to the second category. So that is nothing but by this condensation only. Condensation can be done either by chemical methods. Among these chemical methods, these are the example. So A I have taken now, I will write this one as B. Condensation can also be done by excessive cooling. By excessive cooling. Okay, by lowering the temperature also you can do the condensation reaction and then you can prepare the respective colloids. So what is the example I can give? Say if you take the carbon tetrachloride, or you can say you can take the ether, those are nothing but the organic solvents, and if you add the water, so it leads to the excessive cooling because the temperature of water will be very less. Okay, so you are going to get, you know that both are immiscible with each other. They leads to the formation of a colloid. So you are doing the excess cooling by adding the water. So you are preparing that carbon tetrachloride, or you can say ether colloid. Okay, so that's how by excessive cooling you can prepare the colloids. So likewise you can by exchange of solvent also. C is nothing but by exchange of solvent. Exchange of solvent. So for this I will take the example of NaCl, small amount of NaCl. If you add to water and if you allow if you leave this one, it will form into what? True solution. It will form into true solution. But if you take the same NaCl and if you react with the carbon tetrachloride, so it leads to the formation of a colloid. It leads to the formation of a colloid. Do you know why? So here you can take that, so NaCl is ionic, water is also ionic. So complete dissolution of this NaCl will take place in case of water, because I have taken NaCl in smaller quantities. But if you change the solvent, in place of water you have taken what? Carbon tetrachloride. So that is nothing but an organic solvent, and this is nothing but our inorganic compound. So can NaCl will be soluble in carbon tetrachloride? No. So it will form thus emulsion, or you can say separate layer formation will take place. It is not so clear. So what do you call for that one? That is called as a colloid. Okay. So by changing the physical state also, by changing physical state also, you can prepare the what physical state, you can also prepare the what you can say lyophobic colloids. So one such example we can have. So if you react with the mercury with the sulfur, it leads to the formation of HGS. Once again, that is nothing but a sol. So and then here you can see that the physical states will be changed. The physical states will be changed. And once it is formed, it should be stabilized. Once it is formed, it should be stabilized. That can be done by adding the suitable stabilizing agents. So those stabilizing agents are usually what? Ammonium salts. What are the stabilizing agents you are going to add for this one? Ammonium salts, or you can say the citrate ions, or you can add citrate ions in order to stabilize the sols which are formed by the change in the physical states. So these are all the different methods where we can see that condensation process produces the, or you can say help is useful in the preparation of what? Lyophobic colloids. So just go through this one. So lyophobic colloids can be prepared by condensation method. In that condensation method there are different. So one is the chemical methods. In that chemical methods, either by double decomposition or by oxidation or by reduction or by hydrolysis. Right? Any one method is used for the preparation. Likewise, this condensation can also be done by excessive cooling. This is the example what I have given, or by exchange of solvent also you can do this one, or by changing the physical state. So these are the different methods that come under the condensation. Okay, I think you are clear with this concept. With that, let us move on to the one more important method that is used for the preparation of these colloids. So condensation method is over. So that is nothing but that is the dispersion method. What is the second method? Dispersion method or disintegration method. Okay, second process is nothing but the dispersion method or disintegration method. Dispersion method. So in this dispersion method, again there are two types. So one is nothing but the mechanical dispersion. One is the mechanical dispersion. Mechanical dispersion, where we can convert a suspension into a colloidal solution. So suspension is converted into a colloidal solution. Colloidal solution. You know the difference between the particles of suspension and a colloidal solution, right? What is the difference between the particles of colloidal solution and what is that? That is nothing but suspension. So they are a little bit bigger. The size of this colloidal solution ranges between 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer, right? So the size of the suspension particles will be greater than 1000. So then if you reduce the size of this suspension particle, you can get the what? Colloidal solution. That can be done by mechanical method. Simply you know about this one. So if you take ragi or jawar, so there will be rollers. There will be rollers in the house. Just what you call in chakki, I think in Hindi. So if you do like this, means the bigger particles will be converted into small particles. Nowadays floor mills and all there, no, there also that will mechanical like that. here. So there will be two discs. So beneath those discs, in between those discs, if I place the suspension particles, so then if I allow to mechanically, if I roll those discs, so the bigger particle will be converted into smaller particles, and by the addition of the suitable solvent you can collect these colloids. So that is mechanical method, mechanical dispersion. And the second one, what we can see in case of this dispersion is nothing but, that is very, very important, that is called as Briggs. The second one, that is called as Briggs, B-I-G, arc method. Briggs arc method, or it is also called as electrical disintegration. Electrical disintegration or dispersion, integration, right? So very important process this is. So for that, let me draw a simple diagram, thereby I can explain the concept very well. So in this apparatus we are having a ice bath, which in which we are going to place a stand. Upon that stand, so we are going to place a tub containing the colloidal solution. So sorry, that is we are preparing the colloidal solution. This is nothing but alkali and water. That is present here is nothing but the alkali and water. So what you call for this one? This is nothing but the ice bath, which help to overcome the intense heat produced during the this reaction, as well as to condense the vapors produced or formed during the reactions, to condense the vapors formed during the reaction. So this is nothing but the ice bath, okay, and this is nothing but the dispersion medium. How you are going to represent that one? DM, dispersion medium. And here in this you have to place, what? The electrodes of the metal whose soul we are preparing, So that is nothing but, say for example, this method is suitable for the preparation of gold, silver and platinum souls. So if you take the gold souls, means you have to place the 2 rods of gold, or if you are preparing the silver soul, means you have to place the 2 silver souls. Okay, both the electrodes are connected to the batteries, both the electrodes are converted to the battery. If it is a cathode, then naturally it will be anode, right? It will be anode. These 2 are the electrodes, and this is the dispersion medium that usually consists of alkali plus water, right? So that is the process. So now when an electric arc, by connecting these 2, when an electric, so what are these 2? These 2 are nothing but the electrodes. So when the electric current is passed through this solution, what happens? There is a formation of an arc here. Then the metal which is present here will get dissolved because of the heat produced during the electric arc, or because of the heat produced when the electric current is passed through the electrodes. So that leads to the melting of the electrodes, and there is a formation of an electric arc between. When current is passed, there is a formation of an electric arc between these 2 electrodes, which leads to the melting of the electrodes, and those will be condensed. They will get vaporized. Once they melt, they convert into liquid. Because of the heat generated, they will get vaporized, and again they will condense back. So by the ice bath which is placed outside, so that ice help to condense the metal ions, or you can say the metal, into a colloidal solution or into a colloid. So understood the concept? So very simple it is. So here in what is the name of this method? This is nothing but your Briggs arc method. Briggs arc method. Why it is called as arc method means because Briggs is nothing but a name of a scientist. Arc is nothing but the arc which is produced, arc shape produced between the two electrodes when electric current is passed through the electrodes. Okay, so this process is also called as electrical disintegration. Electrical disintegration, right? So I am repeating now the process once again. So there is a ice bath in which there is a tank containing the dispersion medium, and then the two electrodes whose soul to be prepared, usually gold, silver or platinum, is immersed. It should be immersed inside that dispersion medium, and those two are connected to the terminals of a battery. So out of those electrodes, one is acting as a anode and one is acting as a cathode. So when electric current is passed through this one, so there is a formation of an electric arc between the two metal electrodes, which cause the melting of those electrodes, and they will get vaporized, and due to intense heat produced, and then the ice help to condense those back to the colloids. So that is what the Briggs arc method, and so it is suitable for the preparation of what are the metals. So they are nothing but gold, silver and platinum. These are the metals which are metal souls which can be prepared very well by in case of this one Briggs arc method. And you should know that it involves both condensation and disintegration. That is very important point. It involves both condensation and disintegration, right? So these are the two methods which we are applying for the preparation of the colloids, right? So here there is a disintegration as well as there is a condensation. Both will take place simultaneously in case of Briggs arc method. So it is a method where both the condensation, disintegration as well as condensation takes place. Understood? So next we will move on to the next process, that is called as peptization. What is the next one? Peptization, right? Very simple process again and very important. This is very important. Okay, so that is nothing but peptization. So let me write the definition for this one. So the process of this is the third method. This is the third method used for the preparation of this colloids. First one is nothing but your condensation, second one is dispersion, third one is peptization. Okay, what we are going to do here is so the colloidal solution will be converted into the freshly prepared precipitate will be converted into a colloid. Freshly prepared precipitate will be converted into a colloid. You should know the difference between the precipitate and the colloid again. Okay, the process of converting freshly prepared the colloid, so the precipitate into a colloid by adding small amount of electrolyte. By adding small amount of electrolyte is called as peptization. So let me write the definition. The process of converting a freshly prepared, okay, freshly prepared precipitate, yes, into a colloidal solution, colloidal solution by adding small amount of suitable electrolyte. This is your bookish definition. So that is there for peptization is called, yes, what do you call for this one? This is called as, yes, peptization. This is called as peptization. So the process of, what is the peptidization? The process of converting freshly prepared, that should be freshly prepared. So it is not the case that yesterday you prepared, today you are adding an electrolyte and you want to convert that one into a colloid. That should be freshly prepared. Now within a fraction of minutes you prepare and then suddenly you add the electrolyte required amount and you convert that one into a colloidal solution. Okay, now that process is called as what? Peptidization. It is not precipitation, it is peptidization. Okay, so here the added electrolyte, the added electrolyte for peptidization process, peptidization process is called electrolyte, the added electrolyte for peptidization process is called peptizing agent. What do you call for that one? That is called as peptizing agent. Without that we cannot expect the peptidization. It only will cause the formation of a precipitate into a colloidal solution. Okay, so that is, so colloidal solution is in between that of the solution and the precipitate. The solution and the precipitate, it is not a solution, it is not a precipitate, it is in between, right? So that can be done only by the addition of a requisite amount of electrolyte. If you add excess of electrolyte now, then also you are not going to get a colloid. Requisite, that's why small amount of suitable electrolyte, specific electrolyte. Okay, so I will show you the example. Simply you can see that. So actually what is the cause? Why the precipitate will be converted into a peptidization? That is nothing but your colloid. So here during peptidization, suitable ion will get absorbed on the surface of that precipitate. Once the precipitate is formed, you are adding the electrolyte. From that electrolyte, suitable ion will get absorbed on the surface of what? That precipitate, and leads to the breaking of precipitate and leads to the formation of the colloidal solution. Leads to the formation of the colloidal solution. So what is that cause? The precipitate absorbs one of the ions of electrolytes. One of the ions of electrolyte, that may be the positive ion, that may be the negative ion, that depends. So a precipitate will not have any charge, but if you add the electrolyte, due to the absorption of a particular ion, there is a development of a charge. There is a development of charge that leads to the formation of colloids. You know that colloids are charged in nature. That we are going to prove by a simple experiment later on. That is a property of colloids. Okay, yes, what I said here, precipitate absorb, it is not absorb, absorb one of the ions of electrolyte on its surface, and develops a positive or negative charge on the precipitate, okay, that leads to the breakdown of precipitate and leads to the formation of what? Smaller particles of colloids. So as the charge develop on that, so leads to break the precipitate into particles of colloidal size. That can be colloidal size, particles of colloidal size, right? That can be what? Converted into a colloidal solution by adding suitable again dispersion medium, because you are getting the particles now, dispersed phase you are getting. So by adding the dispersion medium, suitable dispersion medium, you are going to get a colloidal solution. This is the cause. This is very important, very easy also. So just I will write one example. So you are having some precipitate, that is nothing but AgCl or AgBr, whatever it may be. AgBr you are having, say for example, you are adding an electrolyte KBr to this one. So what happens now? So here it is not having any charge. This is an electrolyte, it will undergo dissociation and leads to the formation of K plus and Br minus. If it absorb, what it will absorb? Only the similar ions. Okay, so if it absorb this Br means it is having negative charge. So what we are going to get? AgBr dash AgBr. So what is the charge? Minus. Do you know why? Because it has been preferentially absorbed the negative ions. Actually there is no charge on the precipitate, but as it is absorbing the negative ion from the electrolyte, so naturally it will get a negative charge on that. Suppose if you are adding the AgBr to this one again, AgBr, what it will do? If it will absorb Ag plus, there is a formation of AgBr dash Ag. What is the total charge? Positive charge. Okay, so that's what I told here. The precipitate absorb one of the ions of electrolytes on its surface, which develops a positive or negative charge, and on the surface of the precipitate leads to break the precipitate into smaller particles of colloidal size. So that's how you are going to convert a freshly prepared precipitate into a colloidal solution by adding a small amount of suitable electrolyte. The process is called as what? Peptization. What do you call for that process? That process is called as peptization. And the electrolyte what we are going to use for this process, that is called as what? Peptizing agent. I hope you understood all the different methods which are used for the preparation of lyophobic colloids. So that is nothing but condensation, dispersion or peptization. Okay, and is very important, this peptization, and this Briggs arc method, it is also called as what? Electrical disintegration method. Electrical disintegration method, where we can see both condensation as well as the what? Evaporation. Condensation as well as the evaporation, right? So one more point, just I told in the beginning, that is nothing but if you take the lyophilic colloids, they can easily prepare it just by mixing dispersion medium with the dispersion phase. Dispersion medium with the dispersion phase, you are going to get the what? We can say those as your lyophilic colloids. One example you can have, that is nothing but jellies. So these jellies, jellies, they are the example for what? Our lyophilic colloids, right? How they will be obtained from the market? They will just like crystals, transparent crystals actually they are. So you are going to bring them from the market, and you are going to add to water, and if you to the hot water if you add, so you are going to get the solution. So when it is kept for condensation, or you can when you keep for that one for freezing, so if you remove or if you take out, you can see that there is a formation of the colloids, which is having the solid dispersion phase as the solid, dispersion medium as a liquid. That is the gel now. So already discussed what is a gel. That is a type of colloid where dispersion phase is a solid, dispersion medium is solid, dispersion phase is a what we can say, that one as a liquid, which is present in smaller quantities. Phase will present in smaller quantities, medium will present in case of larger quantities. That is how simply, or you can have the starch also, right? So whenever I told, I think this example I told, whenever we cook the rice, no, though we will wash the rice with water 2 or 3 times, then we are going to keep on the gas stove, right? After some time there is a formation of a starch, that is what we can say, some sticky substance on the surface of that. So finally if you collect small amount of that one and if you allow to cool, that is nothing but your, what we can say, that is the starch, that is a colloid. Likewise, simple method, very simple methods are applied for the preparation of this lyophilic colloids. Understood? So next we are having the purification methods that I will discuss within a short period of time. Thank you.